Morning, everybody. It's Charlie Fink with This Week in XR, live from AWE on Friday, June 3rd. I have with me Rama Oruganti. He is the Chief Product Officer for RealWear. Rama, welcome, and thank you for making time for us this morning.
Thank you, Charlie. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm excited. I see we have here on the table, perhaps you could lift it up and show it to us, a new RealWear.
Yeah, this is our latest product. This came out in November of last year, November, December. And this is about a completely new modular platform from our previous generation, which was the HMT1. So this particular product has a really high resolution camera built in. This one is a 48 megapixel camera. It's modular, it comes off. This display is much improved, also replaceable later. We have more displays coming. So this seems like a 7-inch tablet at arm's length. We have a 10-inch, 12-inch coming down the pike.
It looks like it's got a great hinge on there, so you can place it in your peripheral vision.
Correct. So the way you would wear it is with a work band like this. You would put it on your head, and then you would adjust your thing.
So for those of you listening, audio only, the monitor hangs off of the headband.
Sure.
It's super light. You probably would forget you're wearing it.
Right.
And that monitor can give you all sorts of information, work instructions, pictures. You can take film. You can take video.
Exactly.
You can take pictures. There's a light. I assume that light is also a work light.
Yes, so we have a flashlight, obviously, we have a camera, then so it's a monocular display, so for people listening in who can't see. So you will see it either on your right or your left eye, depending on which eye is dominant. It's completely configurable for that. Then most of the use cases are around see what I see, which is remote collaboration, remote expert help. You also do work instructions, like you said. You can also see IoT data visualization. And that's what we are here at AWE to talk about, a new concept that we came up with, which is assisted intelligence, which is about creating, consuming, capturing, curated information at the front line. So it's using AI and other techniques, but it's more about getting the right information for the end user.
So once you capture that information from a frontline worker, how is it used?
So for example, we have a partner called IBM Inspector Wearable. And what they do is on the automotive line, as a car goes by, for example, if you want to inspect a wheel for quality control, so using computer vision in real time, a picture is taken, the defects are noticed, and then they're automatically tagged. And so for the frontline worker, as he's doing his quality inspection, quality control, it can see where the problems are without them having to rely only on their eyes. So it's assisting them with additional intelligence, but it's not replacing them. So then they can do the corrections and then move the line along. So that's the concept there.
So I remember RealWear in our coverage over the past couple of years had some significant traction in auto repair with BMW.
Yeah.
And then I believe a European gas and oil company made a deal to buy thousands of them.
Right. So and that kind of progress has gone forward. Now on the auto side, we've made lots of strides with Ford, for example. We have about 2,000 plus deployed there at Ford in auto dealerships. So the whole idea there is escalation. So you're at an auto dealer, you're trying to fix a car, and you don't know how to fix it. It usually gets escalated. It's very difficult to be fixing a car while showing somebody else what you're seeing or hearing. And a technician wearing this can call headquarters and get the help he needs. Now, the nice thing that's happening there, in addition, is with companies like Ford, the value for our previous generation and the new generation is increasing because a lot of intelligence is being built into this, right? So like I talked about the IBM Inspector Wearable, those kind of use cases are becoming more and more prominent.
So you have a big booth here at AWE. RealWear has been here probably longer than I have. Who are you trying to reach? Are there enterprise customers here, colleagues in the industry? What's your strategy?
Yeah, so at AWE, what we primarily here to talk about is two things. One is we are moving from a hardware-centric company. So you've seen our versions of our hardware. We're moving from a hardware-centric to a platform-centric company, and I can talk more about that.
Yeah.
And one of the big things we're talking about today is assisted intelligence. That's the other concept I just touched upon. I talked about the IBM example. There's another company called Transition Tech here also with us at the booth, who does digital overlays on physical assets. So imagine now you're looking at this table, you can put a tag on that lamp, on that light over there, and actually see sensor data, instructions, whatever is more relevant to you for that, and it's tracked in real time. You don't have to have fancy 3D cameras to do that, what we call 2.5D. So again, assisting you as you're doing your task.
Does RealWear, aside from sort of this platform, include any of its own software? And is that a license or is that a app?
Sure. So we have, the way to think about our company as a platform is three things. One is the hardware, which you see, which is sold directly through distributor and channel. The other element is our own software, which is WearHF, which is how voice is recognized, and then WearML, which is how apps get tagged. So you can say the things and then get pressed virtually. So all of that is included in this
And
package.
is the platform based on Android?
Yeah, it's completely based on AOSP. This device is Android 11. And so that was the hardware, and then the software on top. And on top of that is the third-party software: Teams, Zoom, LibreStream, IBM Inspector Variable, and so on. Those are licensed by those respective companies. We have a big ecosystem of 200 plus partners who enable this answer. Then at the very top, we have RealWear Cloud, which sits in parallel with other MDMs. It helps manage the device, push apps on it. What we are now doing is adding more analytics, more remote administration of the devices, really helping fleet management. So that's the big step. I don't know if you know about this. We recently announced Series C funding a couple of days ago of about $24 million, led by Foundry Group. And the whole reason for that fundraise is to help us accelerate on this path to go from a hardware-centric to a platform-centric. So we're very excited to help accelerate that, and you will see more and more stuff coming on the software and the cloud side.
So that's going to create a great new revenue stream.
Yes, of course. I think more than revenue stream, the way we're thinking about it, it brings the whole solution together, right? At the end of the day, the acceleration of adoption of a technology like XR in general and assisted reality in particular, really dependent on a full solution that's easy to manage from the center. It also offers valuable solutions at the front line. A lot of times you will see great technology not really getting adopted because all the pieces are not together. That's really the more exciting part for me. Of course, yeah, there'll be revenue associated with that.
Let's talk about the XR market for enterprises generally.
Sure.
So you hear a lot about the amount of friction that companies are facing trying to break in. Right, you're trapped in what's called POC hell, proof of concept hell, where people buy a few units and they're kind of trying them, but inside the company, people are really busy doing things the way they always did them. And so people in the industry from time to time complain about that. Is that situation changing? Are you seeing faster uptick now?
Yeah, definitely. In the past 2 years, we have seen a lot of change in that because there was an absolute need in many cases with COVID to see what's happening in the front line, and devices like XR devices really help you see what's actually happening. Give you the ability to add information in context when experts were not available. Right? So it has been quite a bit of change. The other thing is companies like us have been in the trenches, like you said earlier, for a long time. So we have learned a lot. Most of it is change management at this point. I think the pieces of technology are coming together. It's putting it all together and helping companies make the transition, showing value at the front line.
So we're going to be back here again next year, as we are every year.
Yes.
Somebody described it, Angelo De Priori of HP told me, it
I
was
know
like
him.
your cousin's wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me what we can expect to be talking about next year.
From RealWear, I would say next year you will see more of the platform story. You should see more of the cloud and how we are making specific solutions, stitching them together in specific verticals. Right now, so far it's been more horizontal, where you are servicing multiple verticals all at the same time. This year we're focusing on a few verticals and trying to stitch the whole end-to-end. I think that's what's going to get you out of the small-scale deployments to very large deployments. And we have already seen that in automotive, for example, large deployments.
Rama, this has been a great conversation. Unfortunately, these are speed interviews, so we have to let you go. But will you come back on the regular show?
Of course I will. Yeah, anytime, Charlie. And I also am speaking later today.
Okay, great. I look forward.
Thank you.
With us this afternoon, we have Tony Vitillo, aka the Scarred Ghost, a blogger, a writer, a developer, and a leader in the XR industry. Welcome. Thanks for making some time for us.
Oh wow, thanks Charlie. I'm very honored to be here with you today.
We would say you're a bona fide XR specialist, and you bring your knowledge to other people through your blog and through other social media platforms where you're delivering these nuggets of information and insight, right?
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, I have like let's call it a daily job, even if we all work day and night. So it's let's say it's my main job. That is one of being a developer. Currently, I have like 2 different jobs. One is making games at New Technology Workers, an agency I co-founded. So focused on entertainment and gaming. We did this fitness game called Hit Motion Reloaded, and another company that is a French company called Vroom, where I work for virtual events. That was the topic of my speech today here at TWIXR AWE, where we create virtual concerts and festivals in XR. And then I take all the lessons that I learned while doing this job, and I try to tell them to people. I also try to interview people, review them, review the hardware that I try for my job, etc., to help the other people in the community.
Okay, but before you go on, can I just make sure that our listeners understand the epic coolness of some of the things that you have built? I mean, the midnight concert with Jean-Marie Jarre in Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, was incredible. Hundreds of people attended. You also built Cannes VR, the Cannes XR
Venice
Film Festival, and you
the
also worked on
Southwest.
South by Southwest.
Yes.
So these are very, very visible projects.
Yeah, it's merit of all the team of Vroom, I'm just part of all the team caring about the tech side, but we all together create amazing things. I mean, the Jean-Michel Jarre, I'm quite afraid of saying that, had 75 million views across the whole world. It's like, when I think about it, it's like, wow, was I involved in this kind of huge thing? It was broadcasted on French TV, on Chinese social media, on Facebook, it was everywhere. So most of people were on traditional media, not VR. 75 million is a lot, and in VR were like, thousands of people enjoying it in VR chat. And it was so cool because, Notre Dame is still burned down, so you can't enter it. And creating a concert during the pandemic in a church that doesn't exist anymore with the legend of electronic music was like, wow. It was really an amazing project. Everyone worked it very well. South by Venice Film Festival, amazing project from a creativity standpoint with lots of people attending. And now we've done this musical experience called Oxymore, this kind of, always with Jean-Michel Jarre, like a post-industrial city, where there are 12 songs and every song corresponds to a district in the city. So while you listen to the song, you travel inside the city. So that's another kind of way of enjoying music instead of traditional concerts. We try always to do something new, something different, and that's what I love of this company.
So Tony and I have a mutual admiration society. I frequently point to his blog from my Forbes column. Yeah, from my Forbes column, and Tony, frequently promotes that on social media, which I super appreciate. But here's the thing that gets me. Okay, I work all week doing this stuff, and I produce maybe 1,000 words. And this is a guy who has a full-time job as a developer, and his content is 4 times the size of mine, and always incredibly deep and technical. And so I always am like, how the hell does he do this? Do you really not sleep? I mean, and English isn't even your first language, you son of a bitch.
I'm becoming right. So, so thanks for the kind words. And anyway, I love totally what you do, Charlie, really. I'm certainly a big fan of your posts and your roundups as well. Regarding me, sleeping starts becoming like more a hobby. Sometimes I do it, sometimes not. It's quite challenging, but it's all a matter, I think, also of trying to create compromises. Like, I had a delivery for a cool project we did for the France television for Roland Garros on mid-June. We're still going on this project, and that period I could blog very little. Now, instead, I'm more focusing at AWE and creating connections, writing blogs during the evening and the night, so I can be more active on the blog. It's more like trying to get a compromise between the peaks of the various works and sleeping very little.
But it has led to an interesting relationship with NVIDIA, correct?
Also, yeah, with some brands like Qualcomm, like NVIDIA, etc., I'm connected with the PR team for the blog, and then maybe I create a collaboration for my other jobs, because NVIDIA is doing amazing things with cloud rendering, so I'm a big fan of what they're doing.
What kind of rendering?
Cloud rendering.
Cloud rendering,
Cloud
yes.
XR SDK is
Yes.
amazing. I tried it with 5G connection, works very well. And so, the blog is good for knowing people. With these people, then I can get a work collaboration. The more I work, I get more things for the articles, and it's all
Well, I'm glad you brought up cloud rendering,
okay.
because I think cloud rendering has the potential to be very disruptive, and it has the potential to bring photorealistic graphics to VR, or XR I should say, way before we ever thought that
Yeah.
might be possible.
Yes, so I'm a big fan of cloud rendering, and having tried it with 5G connections in the lab and seeing that it basically is like having tighter device, it's like, okay, this is the future. But I try also to warn people to say, calm down a bit, because having edge servers everywhere to provide cloud rendering with little latency everywhere is quite challenging. So speaking with the NVIDIA guys, understanding what can be the compromises to make this possible. And they told that, for instance, they're evaluating some tricks, like not all the applications need very, very little latency. Maybe AR ones can have a bigger one. VR ones must have a smaller one. So creating maybe a network that can get a compromise with the latency can do the trick. But anyway, just say people, let's wait for it. I don't want to overhype people. I try to be very practical and say it will happen, but let's give it this time.
Yeah, you touched on something really interesting. There's an interesting thesis around dynamic latency, right? The idea that the end user has a perception that things are happening in real time or near real time, but actually they're being gated based on the application needs.
Yeah.
Things have really strong needs to be fully linked in as you're playing a game or doing something. When you're a little lighter social touch, sort of light touch game or something, you're actually expecting the kind of communication with your friend across the world. That's actually not true duplex, right? So they can manually balance that load.
That can be one of the tricks to arrive to cloud rendering, because if you want super low latency for every application, for everyone, everywhere, you will need servers instead of bricks in the buildings, probably. It's too much. While if you manage to find some compromises, I think maybe something rendered on the device, something on cloud with different latencies, I think it can be the right thing to do. But I'm quite bullish about it because it really has a huge potential, giving us lightweight glasses with cloud with amazing graphics. But let's see, lots of technical issues to solve, and we are here also for this.
So how big is your worldwide audience that's keeping tabs on you and following you? And what are your preferred platforms? Where do they find you?
Let's say that LinkedIn and Twitter are the ones I'm more active onto. And so that's why I connect well with people also like Charlie and you, so it's the best places. I try also to be available on YouTube, but I'm more, someone that likes to write. So sometimes I try to explore videos, but I don't feel at home. It's something like an experimentation. I'm a wall of text guy. So.
So one of the things I admire about your work is you do so much hands-on. Right? You're always reporting, people are always bringing you things and asking you to write honestly about them. So what have you seen in the past, let's say, year, in 2022, that made you go, wow?
Oh, that's an interesting question. So one thing that, since we are at AWE, let's talk about two things I tried at AWE in November last year. So. One is the Mojo Vision contact lenses, because these are like moonshots.
Yeah.
We don't know if they will succeed, but anyway, the work they're doing is super cool.
Yeah,
so
we've had Steve Sinclair on the show.
Yeah.
We're getting another look at it this week.
That's
every
right.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll go trying it. And they give you a stick with a circle and
They get a lot of
green
content on that thing.
Yeah. And there is a green dot, and you say, oh, it's a LED light. They say, no, that's the display. You're like, no way, it's a green dot. And they say, no, put it close to your eyes. You put it close, and you see like Baby Yoda, like an image on the screen, and you're like, oh my God, this is the future. Like having the possibility of having a smart contact lens, you know, it's kind of incredible. And it's incredible that they have a roadmap, and until now they are respecting the roadmap. So we don't know if they will succeed, but until now they're very serious as a company in providing public roadmap and respecting it. They are doing lots of progress. So I say that I totally esteem what they're doing, and I'm kind of mind blown.
That's science fiction stuff, what they're doing.
Yes, it's really magical stuff. Instead, on the craziest thing I tried, I remember the EctoVR boots. That's kind of mechanical boots that while you walk, they drive you back, so you can keep walking in VR because
Walk in place.
Yeah, you can walk in place because the motors put you back.
Yeah. I like that idea better than the catwalk. Yeah, but they've got the giant harness on you, and you're running on it there.
Running in place works.
But it's totally crazy because they're super heavy, super noisy. They move it very fast, and 3-4 times I thought I was dying, falling down with the head. And I said, okay, I'm dying. It's super cool because I love people trying crazy stuff. You know, everyone is so serious and doing this application with these features. And someone says, okay, let's do boots to walk in VR. And I said, okay, I love it. So
Have you had a chance to wear the second gen Magic Leap?
not yet. I went to the private room. It was empty now, so I will try tomorrow to knock
We'll
on
be
the
curious.
door.
That'll be our follow-up.
We're very bullish on it. Tony Vitillo, thank you for taking time to speak with us.
It's
It
been a
is
pleasure.
great to see you in the real.
Thank you.
I'm here with Jeremy Kenisky. He is the CTO of Exalter. So, first of all, great to see you in the real.
Yeah, you too, Charlie.
Second of all, what is Exalter?
Yeah, so Exalter was a company, I think I had actually talked to you about it when we first were kicking it off. We're doing a lot of virtual reality training for enterprise, doing a lot of oil and gas work, doing a lot of pipeline integrity stuff, electrical instrumentation, things like that.
So is that VR and AR?
Honestly, it's really just VR. Really focused on VR right now. I've done a ton of AR stuff.
Yes, I do.
Since way back in the day, but as I'm getting older, VR and training and all this stuff is kind of where all the money's at. And so we're building some really, and it's also really, it's well built. It looks good. It's people are actually using it in the field. So it makes a lot of sense for us to go after that.
headset that you've sort of standardized on, or
it's all standalone stuff. So we're doing a lot of Quest stuff, to be honest. Doing some Pico stuff too.
So that's the real focus is these standalone
Standalone training,
low-cost
yeah.
devices.
Yep.
You're deploying at scale, large
Yeah. Typically, our customers are buying them themselves, and then we're helping them manage them. But 500-600 at a time.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, those are big numbers.
Yeah.
How big is your team?
We're at about 19, 20 right now. So.
And are you guys funded yet? Are you self-funded? Or?
No, we're all self-funded. So we've got a couple. So we're doing the enterprise stuff with some commercial customers in the mostly oil and gas business. But we're also doing a lot of university stuff right now. So I've heard the term metaversity being thrown around here, right?
Why not?
So, I'm not saying we invented it by any means, but we've been using it also for the last year and a half for some university work that we're doing. And a lot of it is, associate degree, blue collar job training stuff, real similar to what we're doing in the enterprise, but it's for, these kids going to 2-year colleges.
So here's a question I've always had, knowing that training is such an important application of VR, but of course your specialty is technology. You don't actually know the job that they're training for.
Right.
So what is the relationship of the developer and the customer who's trying to articulate to you what it is they're trying to teach people?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I'm sure it's different for everybody, but I mean, in a lot of ways, it's something we're trying to solve right now. In a lot of ways, I've become an expert in vapor recovery units and offloading terminals and, separation tanks and all kinds of stuff, right?
Learn the industries that you're helping.
I'm going out there and sitting down with the SMEs and trying to understand what the training process is, what the standard operating procedures are, and really trying to understand that. Then going back with our team, we build all the stuff, build the simulations, right?
So it's a little bit like writing for me in that research is the most time-consuming part.
Yeah, I mean, I joke with the guys. I mean, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to go become, make a ton of money being an oil field services person. I've learned all these different goofy things, but yeah, I mean, and then the other thing we're doing on the university side is we partner directly with the instructors, and they contribute to writing a lot of the training material for us.
And so can that training material then be syndicated to other universities?
Yeah, well, so everything we're building right now, we own completely. So we're putting up deals right now where we're...
So you create these training modules for the oil and gas industry, and now you can take them and go to all of their competitors
in most cases, yeah. And in fact, speaking of that, in fact, a lot of them are actually starting to work together. So they're coming, we're bringing 2 or 3 of them to the table at the same time and saying, look, all you guys need this big compressor unit built. Why don't you, instead of each of you paying $500,000, why don't you pull some money together?
Unified training, which then makes sense that you're locking it into the education models, because there's a lot of it, like we use this term paint by numbers, right? Where you're kind of doing overlays of devices. Are you using the pass-through cameras for the VR in some cases, or is it
pass-through for
like,
VR? What do you mean?
Like when you're looking at the actual units that you have to build and using the video components of these new headsets.
Yeah, no, we're not doing any kind of
So
any video see-through or anything.
Full,
no.
full simulation.
Full sim, yep.
Yeah,
full sim, multiplayer, that kind of thing.
But it is sort of like learn it, do it, kind of simulate it, and then go out in the real world and do it.
Right. It's a variety of, there's, depending on the complexity of each module, there's identification of things and stuff like that. But then you actually get into operating like full sections of a terminal. Like
in VR.
Yeah, in VR. There's OIPs. You go switch things on. You see the valves open up. You see the fluid start flowing through and stuff like that. So it's pretty complex. Yeah.
It seems to me a business like this could really scale and get large and employ hundreds of developers. Is that where you're headed?
I don't know. I don't know. I agree with you that that's where it seems.
Right.
Like
I mean, it's about obviously it's about deal flow. So if you have enough business, you then can add people to help you execute on it.
Right. So yeah, maybe. I mean, we're building. We have a training platform in house that we've built and developed that plugs into people's learning management systems, LXP, stuff like that. But obviously the content piece is a huge part and it's very expensive, and so we're trying to balance. You know me, I come from a content building background, so we're trying to figure out how much of that are we going to keep doing and how much of that do we bring other partners on and stuff like that. I've been coming to AWE since it was year 1 or 2 and ARE or whatever it used to be called, and a lot of my buddies here are now running similar companies doing similar training stuff. So some of us are talking about different ways we could potentially combine efforts. Everybody's building the exact same thing, which seems a little weird to me, a little silly.
The competitive landscape, the company I know well is Tailspin. It's probably similar. That you guys are doing. And it's obviously a huge market. So there's
Tailspin focused mostly on soft skills.
Right, they're doing a lot of soft skills training, right?
Yeah.
So you have a different bent. You're doing more of the hard hardware, big enterprise.
There's a huge vacuum right now for people that can do these kind of jobs. I mean, these kids can go middle of Oklahoma, can go to this school, get a 2-year degree, and make $120,000 a year coming out of school. It's crazy. They're 24 years old, making tons of money.
Are you looking for developers? Are you growing?
Yeah, we are. We're growing. I'm out of town for the next week and a half, but the day I get back, we're onboarding 3 new people. So I mean, we are looking for people.
Yeah, I have a half a dozen students who graduated who are.
Are you at Chapman now?
I am at Chapman and Arizona State, and from time to time I do remote teaching at Shenandoah University on the East Coast because they have a VR program that is run by somebody that I'm friendly with, actually from AWE.
Yeah,
So they, as opposed to Chapman, which is more liberal arts oriented, these guys are hardcore science. Hard. They have C# and all of the different programs.
Yeah,
so
I'm happy to.
some of them want to go into games. Some of them just want to do VR anywhere. They worked on a project for the Smithsonian together, so they've had some professional experience from this program. So they're not what you normally think of as a computer science or the kind of liberal arts creative types we have at Chapman. I don't have too many people at Chapman who learn C# and are game engine ninjas. They're storytellers. They have ideas, but most of them want to be Steven Spielberg. So very different than the computer science guys who really just want to work for Rockstar Games or Activision or something, and participate as part of a team doing something that they really, really love. I mean, these are guys who were doing, the esports teams. Right. So do you guys have a booth here?
We don't. No. It's actually I just came by myself. Charlie, we're spending a lot of time. I used to come to all these. I used to be the emerging tech chair at SIGGRAPH and do all kinds of the tech conferences. man, I spend most of my time now at the oil and gas conferences because that's really where
You're
we're
fishing where
finding
the fish are.
Yeah.
So I can imagine the tenor of an oil and gas conference is very different than AWE.
Yeah. And I've been pleasantly surprised with how much everyone's adopting this. I thought that, older people in the oil and gas field that are used to doing this kind of stuff are going to be like, what are you trying to tell me? Put a headset on and do what? But they've actually been super receptive. So
well, I would imagine that you've put a lot of people into VR for the
first time.
right?
Yeah, sure.
So in addition to like your work, and you're saying this is what we're doing, and we can help you like teach your technical staff how to rebuild a very complex compressor or something.
Right.
Do you sort of say, hey, by the way, while you have these things, go play these games, it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, we've had at one of the universities we're working with, we had one of the guys do the plank walk thing. And
Richard's plank experience.
I'm sure you've seen people literally dive into the wall. And so, I mean, I don't do a ton of that anymore. There's some liability
well,
there.
I think Meta has done everybody a favor by spending hundreds of millions of dollars promoting VR.
Yeah.
So at least people see it on TV.
And they're like, oh, now I got one for work, and I can use it at home. I can bring it home for my kids. And
that's what a lot of them are doing. Yeah, for sure. So,
Jeremy, a year from now,
yeah.
What are you and I going to be talking about at this table for the podcast?
Yeah, good question. So I think, we'll have our big Metaversity project deployed to OSU. We're working with OSU right now on this one. So, and this has been, it was originally funded by a big Title III grant, and now they're actually funding it themselves, which is, I think, kind of unheard of in the university systems.
Self-sustaining.
Yeah, Victory XR has been doing.
Yeah,
stuff
I've been meaning to
Morehouse.
catch up with Steve. I haven't
Steve Grubbs. We're trying to get him on the podcast in a few weeks.
Yeah,
we had him in 2020.
Steve's great. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Well,
He operates off of the Engage platform. But but what he does so well.
He's giving me a tour of some of his stuff on it virtually. And
Perfect.
It's
I was
cool,
going to say he has signed up a lot of colleges and really talks the talk with them.
Yeah, we're taking a little bit of a different approach than building on top of Engage. We're deploying our own system and Metaversity platform. But yeah, I've seen his stuff in Engage. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Jeremy, it's been great to catch up with you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for joining us this morning, and good luck with the last day of the show.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.